because I have an IFL science update on today's edition of This Is True Really News. Not really an update, just a story out of Colorado, because honestly, I think they'll believe anything.
Because they're Coloradoans.
Yeah, and with the high altitude and the marijuana, who knows? So anyway, if you would like to like and subscribe and to follow into This Is True, the Really News, we would appreciate it.
Smooth.
I don't know what that was, but let's try it again. We would love it if you would like, subscribe, and follow This Is True Really News, because soon we'll be wealthy beyond our wildest dreams. But we will not forget the little people who made it all happen. The Lucky Charms Leprechaun.
Yep.
7 of 10 Smurfs.
Well, and all the
Papa Smurf was kind of a dick about the whole thing. So.
all the little people from all the movies.
Yeah. You know. The Munchkins.
Yeah.
Especially the Lollipop Kids. They were behind us. So please join that illustrious crew. Like, subscribe, and follow This Is True Really News so we can get wealthy beyond our wildest dream. Almost got through it. If you find a weird story you'd like to share with us, This Is True Really News would be TITR at netradio.network.
Lovely.
Should do the deal.
This is True Really News with Scott Combs and Tony Vercanis. All the news you're about to hear is true.
Really?
As far as you know.
All right, everybody pile into the titter Wayback machine.
He's a titter.
We're going way back, almost to the beginning of time. 2010.
There was time back then?
Well, time was new, so it was a bit elastic.
What the hell am I talking about?
Yeah, right.
52. I mean, come on.
A 19-year-old rugby player from Australia named Sam Ballard swallowed
a whale?
Swallowed a live garden snail on a dare.
Well, like a whale, only, smaller and slower and slimier and ickier.
Yeah. Leaving a trail of slime wherever he goes. When Ballard woke up the next day, he felt terrible. He was experiencing leg pains, dizziness, and severe vomiting. Pretty common results for a rugby player on a given weekend. What wasn't common was the meningitis Ballard was experiencing. Technically, it was, eosinophilic meningoencephalitis.
It was a special cephalitis.
It is very rare.
Mm-hmm. Where does it come from?
Well, we're about to find out. Ballard fell into...
Wait a minute. Everyone who thinks they know.
Ballard fell into a 420-day coma.
Okay, that's not funny in any stretch.
Special poisonous snail, you might ask?
Was it the snail? Oh, wise one?
Oh, no, my young Padawan.
Oh, drat, we've all lost our money, dudes.
The slug was literally garden variety, as was the parasite festering inside. The ever-popular rat lungworm takes over the nervous system of a host and then bursts out of the pulmonary artery like the antagonist from a science fiction movie.
But then its host dies.
It doesn't care. Ballard finally woke up.
Dies.
Ballard finally woke up, but he was paralyzed from the neck down. He died 2 years later. Lesson for all of us: never play rugby in Australia.
Or at least make sure, if you're going to, eat a healthy snail.
You got any parasites on you?
No. I'm pretty sure that would kind of kill the spontaneity of the whole thing. And by the time the snail was tested, I'm pretty sure all the alcohol would have worn off, and you go, oh, no.
Yeah, he probably thought all the alcohol in his system was going to kill any parasite.
A recent report from IFL Science, which makes it sound so official, addresses white blobs that have been spotted popping up in yards around Colorado following heavy precipitation that's hit the state over recent weeks. Noting that the blobs, also known as slime mold, boy, there's kind of a theme here.
There we are.
Consist of multiple organisms known for their collective intelligence.
Dum, dum, dum.
Capable of storing memories, problem solving, and decision making as a group.
They can pass the SAT in just 6 words.
Let's be honest. If you're a blob of slime mold, I don't think just one of you has the capacity to be that. Yes,
I'm a blob of slime mold, am I not?
Sure, I say that, and you get all grumpy about the whole thing.
You better not call me that, you poophead.
Slime mold.
Butthouse.
According to Canuck. According to the report, the slime mold is a now. See, now you're done because you can't do anything about it.
No, there is nothing I can do at this point.
Thank you, eh? According to the report, the slime mold is a group of eukaryotic something organisms that are free living.
Eucharistic.
Nope, that ain't it. It's a group of organisms that are free living and single celled, joining together to form a colony that can work and move together.
Huzzah.
The group of organisms thrive when mushrooms are present, hunting fungi as their main source of prey and sustenance.
And the little fungi whimpering and cowering in fear.
The slime mold appears as a foamy pad. Actually, if you've ever seen like the insulation they used to put in like freezer walls. Refrigerator walls?
Yeah, like
That's
the
kind of what it
expanding
reminded me
foam.
of. Yeah, that whitish. That's kind of what it looked like.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's gooier.
Yeah.
Although they can be white, they can also come in gray, yellow, purple, orange, or brown. Basically, they can go with any decor. They thrive where it's wet, hot, and humid. Florida, watch out. It can often be mistaken for dog vomit. Dogs, watch out. You don't know what you're eating. While there's no central brain driving the group of organisms.
Yeah, it sounds like every government I've ever encountered.
You know what? If you're going to start right away, you start insulting slime mold for no reason.
You know, I apologize to the entire slime community.
Wow. Not counting Washington.
I am.
Well, there's St. Paul.
I'm very,
Tallahassee.
very,
What are other?
very apologetic.
Canberra, all the big places.
Canberra.
Isn't that the capital of Australia?
I think it is.
It is. While there's no central brain driving the group of organisms, we've been there before, don't repeat it. The cluster is able to make decisions regarding where to move collectively in order to survive. And now I've got that picture of the whole group on Mary Tyler Moore heading for the Kleenex box. Just find Google Mary Tyler Moore show and check the last episode.
You'll like it.
Movements are made by the organism shifting back and forth inside of a shared cytoplasm.
Ooh.
And they roll as a sort of wave forms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Though the appearance of slime mold might be a little off-putting, it isn't harmful to humans or animals, sorry.
Villains.
Or animals, according to a report from the University of Vermont. The one thing they don't tell me here at all
Yeah.
is, I mean, it's all well and good, but how the hell do we know that they can actually solve problems, have memories, and do their decision-making as a group? Bless you.
Excuse me. Wow.
We have for a long time. 600
Where'd
some
that come
episodes
from?
now.
Yeah, more than 666.
Thank God for that.
We got to I should have renamed the show Hell.
But nope. Well, you should have renamed it, but you can't because the world's worst curse word is already taken. Golf.
Right. Nigel Lang was a happy.
So you're not going to tell me where they know this from, are you? Because
they
they don't. Because IFL is basically just a meme-making machine, and that's all they are.
Yep.
But it makes for an interesting story.
They may bleep and love science, but sometimes they don't explain it very well.
Or at all.
Nigel Lang was a happy
I think
husband.
sometimes they just make it up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Nigel Lang.
See, you thought I was going to start interrupting you, didn't you?
I was very
You
afraid.
did. You
was
pretty sure I was
concerned
going
for a
to,
minute
but I
there.
sure didn't.
Nigel Lang was a
It's
happy.
old if I keep interrupting you all the time when people think I
don't
will.
know. I mean, my son Drew thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah, but
Nigel-
Drew, I think, was dropped on his head as a child, and which is why he thinks like me. So,
At the very least.
Yeah.
Nigel Lang was a happy husband.
or was it
parent.
Ian that was dropped on his head as a child?
The two of them. In fact, when Drew was born, we just flat went and dropped him on his head right away.
Get that over with.
Get it out of the. Yeah,
Yeah. Nigel,
Nigel.
nurse, because he was kind of wet and slimy,
Yeah, Butterfingers.
silly nurse.
Nancy Butterfingers coagulant. Yeah, that was it. That was her name.
Sure.
Nigel Lang was a happy husband, parent, and drug
I'm
recovery
sorry.
worker.
I have to know, did you really drop him on his head when you...
Well, I may not have, but I think Ann did.
I'm not even going to tell because that'd be like shooting fish in a barrel.
Nigel Lang was a
Will you
happy...
get on with the story, please? Because you're holding us up.
I'm so sorry. I've been...
Yeah.
Nigel Lang was a happy husband, parent, and drug recovery
Why does that
worker.
sound like a bad name in a superhero movie, doesn't it?
Nigel Lang?
Nigel Lang.
I thought you were talking about happy husband.
No, that's like the bad guy.
Nigel Lang was a happy husband, parent, and drug recovery worker who helped teens deal with addiction and sexual exploitation, which is why it was such a shock when police barged through his door to arrest him for owning and sharing child pornography. Lang, understandably, denied the charges. After searching his house and seizing his laptop, the cops released Lang on bail under the condition he stay at his mother's house until the investigation had finished, because he wasn't allowed to be near his 2-year-old. Then, quickly as they had appeared, the charges vanished. There was no evidence on Lang's laptop.
Well, then,
Ready? Mm-hmm. A year later, Lang's lawyers finally got the bottom of things. It seems someone from the Herefordshire Police Department had mistakenly added an extra digit to the IP address of a suspected child molester in the area.
And they came up with Nigel.
That new string of numbers led to Lang's doorstep.
Now, Nigel works to save people during the day and fight crime at night. As
Super Nigel.
Vindicted man. No,
Yes.
Vindicated man.
Lang sued the police.
Vindicted man and vindictive girl, his sidekick.
After 6 years of fighting, he got about $80,000 in compensation and a letter of apology.
Well, then, I mean, I don't know what more you could do.
Right? Well, they could never stop kissing his butt, you know.
Yeah, that gets old after a while.
Yeah, I suppose. And you can't go out in public because, you know, your pants are constantly down in the back.
You know, it's like, just set an appointment with my secretary. A prominent Harvard behavioral scientist who undertook studies about honesty is under fire for allegedly, fabricating papers that she worked on, according to a report. Oh, come on. That was like a train light in the tunnel.
Well, you know, it's so funny because just yesterday I saw an article where one of the most celebrated scientists out of, I think, Stanford is the most published scientist in history, right?
Oh, no.
Did a study and said 40% of the findings of research papers is false.
Hooey.
And he said there's a direct correlation between the amount of money involved in the study in terms of, you know, how much money can be gained or lost, and what its findings find.
No. I myself personally am stunned.
Trust the experts.
Yeah.
Only when they prove to me they're honest.
Harvard Business School's Francesco Gino allegedly chalked up phony results tied to studies, including one focused on honest behavior. I bet the New York Times who reported the story must have just choked writing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it can happen.
Half of what they do, they just make up. She's been placed on. No, please, it's not made up. It's
I think
like an amalgamation of everything I've imagined.
They're using Chat GPT to write it now.
She's been
True or
more
not,
accurate.
they use the fiction writer to get whatever they need.
Still be more accurate. She's been placed on leave, according to her business school webpage, which the Times reports showed she was still on the job as early as mid-May.
Mm-hmm.
If you're wondering, she's published 135 articles since 2007 in a blog called Data Colada. Oh, come on,
Which may
nerds.
explain a few things.
Dude, they're nerds. I mean,
right, exactly. We can't.
It's run by 3 behavioral scientists. It alleged fraud in 4 academic papers that Gino co-authored. They said they presented evidence of fraud to Harvard in the fall of 2021, tied to a paper published 9 years earlier, and another 3 papers she was part of. That 2012 paper relied on 3 separate studies, including one that Gino spearheaded.
Mm-hmm.
The paper claimed that people who fill out tax forms or insurance documents are more honest if they attest to the truth of their responses at the top of the page instead of the bottom. See, you and I would have gone, no, that's just, what's the word? Stupid? That would be the word, yeah. Yeah. One of the experiments asked about 100 participants to complete a worksheet of 20 puzzles, and for every puzzle cracked, they would get $1. Participants later submitted a form saying how much money they earned from the puzzle solving, but were led to believe that they wouldn't get caught if they cheated. In reality, researchers would be able to know how many puzzles were actually solved. University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School behavior scientist Marie Schweitzer, there are a lot of behavioral scientists, told the Times that he was reviewing 8 papers he had worked on with Gino and noted others are now doing the same. She has been honored as one of the top 40 business professors under 40 and has notched numerous awards, with her studies being featured in an array of news articles and broadcasts. And that's not a lie. She's been all over the place when it comes to the academic side of things.
That's going to end.
Yeah, maybe. One would hope, but
oh boy, now you've sown doubt in my mind.
I think about it for just a minute. I mean, come on.
They might just make her head of the department.
It's my sad but true thought, yes.
This is true, really news. Send email to TITR@netradio.network.